This morning I'm joined by leading fiscal conservatives who are as dedicated as I am to ensuring our government is fiscally responsible, and I want to thank them all for not just their support today, but their decades of support for getting the federal budget under control and getting our national debt down. Our national debt has risen to over $22 trillion, growing larger and larger every moment, and with annual deficits projected to hit $1 trillion this year. The time has more than come to take smart action to curb federal spending. The truth is, Washington does not have a revenue problem. It has a spending problem. Revenues and receipts are on the rise. In fact, according to Dave Schweikert, the leading House Republican on the Joint Economic Committee, federal revenues in the first 8 months of this year are at the highest level in history. And apples to apples, constant dollars, the second highest in history. The problem is spending continues to rise faster than revenue. Congress has to take immediate action to address this issue in the looming fiscal crisis. And I think we believe here today the best way for Congress to approach this problem is by committing to smart federal spending caps. That's why today I'm reintroducing the Maximizing America's Prosperity, or MAP Act, to put America's budget back on the path to sustainable financial solvency, to reduce the federal spending over time and compare it to our economy. Many nations, such as Switzerland, Germany, and Chile, have successfully capped spending based on the size of their economic output and reduced it as a percentage. The MAP Act draws on the success of these countries by capping all federal spending as a percentage of potential GDP. The MAP Act is a smarter way to cap federal spending for three reasons. First, we cap only what Congress can control, today's discretionary and mandatory spending. And by focusing on non-interest spending, what Congress does control, the MAP Act attacks the problem, not just the symptoms of higher spending. Secondly, the MAP Act recognizes there's a smarter way to compare this than just GDP. We use potential GDP. That is a known economic quantity. It is a smarter way to do this because, unlike the economy, potential GDP is a smoother path. And so what you do is you prevent Congress from overspending in the good economic years, and then in the bad economic years, the cuts are so severe they won't make them. So we recognize how that system is gamed, and we're determined to end that. And then finally, the MAP Act sets aside 1% of the budget each year in a rainy day fund to ensure that we're prepared in case there is a need for emergency spending. We recognize, as well as fiscal conservatives, that emergency spending is often used to drag a lot of non-emergency spending over to the White House. We're determined to end that gaming of the system as well. The MAP Act caps begin in fiscal year 2022, providing Congress the time to develop a spending reduction plan to right-size our federal government, to grow the economy and move us closer to a balanced budget over the next 10 years. At the end of the day, this is not a crash diet. This is a take off pounds sensibly. So ultimately, in the MAP Act, we gradually reduce current spending levels from a little less than 19% of potential GDP in 2022 to a final target cap of 17.5%, which is near the 50-year revenue average by the next decade, and we hold it thereafter. Additionally, the bill doesn't detail where the savings should be achieved, so it allows authorizing committees like Ways and Means and appropriators to come up with the necessary savings to achieve the caps. I'm pleased today, we are all pleased today, that my colleague from Indiana, Senator Mike Braun, will be introducing companion legislation today in the Senate. It's our hope Congress can come together and pass the MAP Act swiftly. We can finally get a smarter federal spending plan, address a crisis that is not going away. And the bottom line is, look, if we don't work to fix our ballooning deficits and national debt today, our children and grandchildren will pay an extremely steep price. So thank you for those of you who are here today. More importantly, you've just been the strongest supporters throughout the years. Our success in moving this to the President's desk largely is due to the work of the fiscal leaders who are standing with us on this on the MAP Act.
One of the most fundamental duties of Congress is to ensure the fiscal solvency of our nation. If you look at part of the reason we organized under our Constitution was to deal with fiscal solvency and to put our country on a path that we could accomplish the great things that have made America the world's land of opportunity.
The Maximizing America's Prosperity Act is one good idea from Europe that we should seek to adopt because it's a way to address those remaining and heightening budgetary challenges and stabilize federal spending to ensure that opportunity and prosperity are there for our children as well as our grandchildren.
For those of us who care about our children and grandchildren, and also for those of us who care about our economic well-being in the short term, legislation like the MAP Act is really, really critical, and we're enthusiastically in support.
The MAP Act is a fantastic piece of legislation. To me, it answers the question that ought to be asked of every single member of Congress today, regardless of which way they vote on this budget deal, and that is what's next. What is next for this Congress to start to restrain spending? So what next? The MAP Act is a fantastic start to answering that question. We need more people coming to the table of all ideological persuasions who are willing to stand up and stop spending taxpayer money in an irresponsible fashion.
American Prosperity stands ready to work with Representative Brady and Senator Braun and any other member of Congress to put America on the right fiscal path. Thank you.
American families and businesses could never survive operating like Congress. For them, racking up debt leads to serious consequences. Today, the federal government is collecting record high revenues because of the strong economy. It's the perfect time to begin balancing the budget.
Not only does the MAP Act provide fiscal restraint, it also provides something that CAGW has been talking about for many years, which is a set-aside, essentially a rainy day fund for emergency spending.
This is an act that will provide a clear pathway moving forward that will once again restore fiscal sanity, and we urge everyone to support this common sense act.
And in 1992, Colorado voters approved the Taxpayer Bill of Rights, or TABOR, to limit runaway spending. The question is, why can't we do this at the federal level? On behalf of the Heartland Institute, we strongly support Chairman Brady, Congressman Davidson, and Senator Braun to pass the MAP Act. Thank you.
Thanks. I know there are some who feel like fiscal sanity is a lost cause, that is fairly lonely to be pushing ideas like this in Congress. I think it's just the opposite. When you're in the middle of a fiscal storm, that's when you need the lighthouse. That's where you need a beacon to show you the direction to go to get back into a safer territory. That's what the MAP Act does for America. Creates a proven plan and a smarter plan to drive America, lead America back into a financial stability so that our economy can grow and there are more opportunities for our kids and grandkids going forward. That's again why I cannot thank enough the leaders who are here today, and again, not just for today, but for the years of your dedication to fiscal responsibility for America.